back here with Dan and Vernon. Good to
Hey.
be back, guys. It's been a minute.
It does feel good to be back. I was surprised how much I missed this. No offense.
Yeah, that's sort of backhanded, Vernon.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't expect this, but I actually enjoy you guys' company. It came as a real surprise to me. And everybody I complained about. All my friends are like, don't you hate those guys? And I was like, yeah, but now I don't have material to complain about. So. Now we will.
I hate them. Turns out they're so-so.
Yeah. The so-so podcast.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
With Lena and others.
And others, yeah. Well, I was not in the past week, 2 weeks. So Lena and Vernon and other.
Yeah, you've only missed one. Last week we didn't do it, so because I think I think we just weren't feeling it. So we didn't, which is the nice thing about having a newsroom where everybody you talk to is like immediately in your vicinity. So we should be like, do we want to do a podcast this week? Nah. Like, all right. Guess we're not doing it. So
not feeling it is a great excuse to not do something.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the summer.
Okay.
It's also how you know it's real banter and like real energy, because if we didn't feel like doing it, we just wouldn't be here.
Yeah, it'd be a lot more boring.
Yeah.
Be a solid 5-minute podcast in and out.
Read the headlines.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just read verbatim what the article was. All right. Well, speaking of which, do we want to just go ahead and jump right in today?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, great. So our first article today is about the pop-up in Clarendon, the Satirical Zine and Street Studio.
Yeah, so you guys know the posters around town of like, they were like making fun of James DeVita when he was running for county board. They make fun of like advanced towing. Like, are you guys familiar with the?
Yeah.
So
they make fun of us.
They make fun of us. Yes. I guess I should have mentioned that.
Good natured.
Yeah, the guy who's behind those, you might see him on the streets these days because he actually has a new studio pop up. Sometimes most of the time I think he's in Clarendon, sometimes he's in Courthouse. And you can like check out his art, and he's also collecting submissions for a new zine that he's starting, which is kind of cool.
Is this Wilson B?
Yes.
Because I remember when we first talked about Wilson B in the newsroom, we were like, oh, we finally know this person, we finally know the real name, and it's Wilson B. And then one of the other reporters was like, oh, like Wilson Boulevard? We're like, no, damn it, like we thought we knew. But no, it turns out that is actually their name. So Wilson B.
Well, supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly. Who knows for sure?
It might not be the smartest idea to be like giving around your name, because I'm not sure if all those posters around town are actually legal or not. But
yeah. Well, anytime I'm doing something illegal, I'm always trying to leave my name. I'm like, I am breaking into this place, and my name is Dan, and I work at ARL Now.
Yeah, that's fair. I say that too.
Yeah, so
we love zines.
It's a mobile art workshop on a bike, it sounds like.
Yeah, he likes to bike around. I'm not sure if he bikes here. I know that he does a lot of biking. Yeah, I guess it says it's strapped to a bicycle.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures. That's got to be like a good bit to tow around. That's not like a little like teeny tiny cart. Like he's got a whole setup.
Oh, we gotta get Wilson B on the podcast at some point to talk about. So we've talked about doing more guests coming up, and every time I hear about somebody who does something, sorry Wilson, insane like this, I'm like, that sounds like a fun person to talk to. Like, what's it like just hauling this around?
Yeah, don't ask him about the art. Ask him.
Yeah, so
get this uphill.
Having a small gallery on your back, how does that go?
What really gets me about this is like he's not actually selling the art. He's just like kind of, I just guess, just getting out of the house to make art.
I want to do that with my Warhammer figures. I'll be like biking around with all of them on display, and it's like, oh, are you selling them? No, I just want people to look at them and go, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think we should start doing this at the newsroom too.
Yeah,
we can all just be out on the sidewalk.
We should bring back heralds. We should go up and down Wilson Boulevard, being like, "Hear ye, hear ye!" BB gun attacks, break-ins reported at courthouse.
Yeah, it's like Paul Revere. That's how we do breaking news.
Alexandria still has a herald. He still comes to the like big events. I went to one that was this very creepy like secret society meeting in Alexandria. It was underneath the George Washington Masonic Temple.
Well, now it's not secret. Now it's
now it's not a secret. They were even wearing like these eyes wide shut looking like masks the whole time with little like fake mustaches on it. And yeah, they had their town crier come up and give a blessing for good business. And I was like, this is insane.
Wait, a blessing?
How does one acquire a job like that? Like,
I guess you go around shouting a lot and you dress.
Yeah. And then when somebody has it, they're like, you know what? I know the perfect person for that.
He also dressed in like a tricorner hat and stuff. So I guess dress for the job you want.
Huh. But he's giving blessings?
It's like a ceremonial like introduction thing. It was some kind of I don't know if it was exactly religious, but it was some sort of like benediction on behalf of local businesses.
Interesting. Well, we've got Wilson B's next side gig.
There we go.
Yeah, but I mean that seems pretty cool. It sounds like a fun way to spend your time if you're like, I got nothing to do today. Go take my giant bike.
I wonder if Wilson B will say that is why he does this, because he didn't have anything else going on that day. So no, it does sound really cool. I like it.
Well, he's also accepting. I thought this was cool. He's accepting submissions for his new zine that he's trying to make. So you can make $75, and it just has to be. Actually, I'm not entirely sure what he's asking for. It's something to do with Arlington County. I guess you write something.
Yeah, I don't want to sound too nice and positive about people in our community, but this does sound great. Like this is where local culture comes from. So good on you.
No, I think this is so nice.
Well, you say that, and then the first edition is like, why ARLnow is terrible.
Well, that's why I'm trying to be nice. Like I'm being extra nice. So at the first zine, we don't open it up, and it's like parodies of all of us with like horses' bodies or something on it. So.
It's like the characters that the drawings that people do, and it just always hurts your feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay to get that done. I'm like, no.
Now remember that we on the ARLnow podcast have always been kind to Wilson B and his zines.
Always been kind and also very sensitive.
Very sensitive, yeah. I think it's a good thing to report when your stop sign is defaced. I've always supported people doing that.
Never said anything of the contrary.
Never. Thank God this podcast doesn't record it, otherwise we'd be in real trouble.
There's no record of that anywhere.
Right. Lucky us.
No one can fact check. All right. Well, moving on to our next article. High schooler uncovers history of Arlington's first known Chinese restaurant.
I think this is awesome. So there was in the early, I think it was in the 1950s, there was a Chinese restaurant, which was one of the first ones in the region. And there were other restaurants that had like Chinese dishes and some like kind of touristy sort of cheap paraphernalia on it. But this is one that was actually like dedicated to Chinese cuisine, dedicated to displaying genuine like Asian culture in Arlington. And it was a big deal. And I think that's really cool to go back and look at that kind of local history. It was very active in the community. One of the interesting parts of this was in the 1960s when you had like Jim Crow laws across the South, and there were sit-ins around Arlington. This was a big deal. This was one of the first places to fully integrate, to go against those Jim Crow laws and say, we're not going to segregate in our restaurant.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, this is on display. I think it's at where is this? The Arlington Historical Museum. It's at the Arlington Historical Society. It's all on display. It's a temporary museum, and it's really cool that a local high schooler did this, kind of got involved in their community and did this deep dive into the research. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's so cool that, like you said, a high schooler went and did that. Like,
Yeah.
That's a really cool thing to go and do instead of, I feel like there's a million easier things that they could do, that they could research. And this is.
Yeah, and even part of this is about there are areas where they don't have the information. They don't know when exactly it closed. Mm-hmm. They don't know some other information like that. And so part of the learning lesson here, I feel like if you're a high schooler, is not just what you can uncover, but what you can't, and working around that as you design an exhibit.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it'd be pretty tough to actually like track down information on some of this. Like, did they talk about how they actually were able to go back into history and like find out about a specific restaurant?
Yeah, a lot of it was newspaper reporting from the time, because there's, I mean, extensive like connection newspapers around here have extensive archives on stuff like this. But even then, I mean, that can't be easy to sort through all of that and find it. Hell, right. We cover restaurants opening and closing here, and it's hard in this day and age, much less finding that historically. So, but it was still really cool to see. And they have pictures in there too of people sitting down dining at this restaurant. So
yeah, I'm looking at the picture now, and it's so cool. It's like the a very 60s style photo.
Yeah. Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, I thought it was funny in the story. It was talking about how like two of them were ordering actual like, you know, the Chinese American food they sell at the restaurant, and the other two are like, no, we're just gonna order off of the American menu that they also had at this restaurant.
Yeah, because they had, I think one of the things was the special was wonton soup, an egg roll, chicken chow mein, fried rice, and tea, all for $1.50, which is wild. Every time you read about stuff like that, I know inflation is real and all that stuff, but just reading that, I'm like,
$1.50.
It's insane.
I'm like, I want to know what the conversion for that would be. It's still got to be a cheap meal.
It's got to be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining like going to a Chinese restaurant and ordering a freaking hamburger.
Well, it was a novelty here. People didn't know.
So. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like that's a good idea because that will get people in, and then you know, you're looking at things and they're seeing like the classic, you see someone going by with a plate and you're like, that looked really good. And then maybe they would be more inclined to order something that they wouldn't have before. So I think it's a good way, you know, to get people to kind of like dip their toe in. So I think that was smart. That was a good business move.
What my parents did when we lived in Korea was they would just starve my sister and I. We would not have lunch and then not have breakfast, and then soon enough we'd just go out to dinner and whatever they had on the menu, we were like, yeah, quail eggs, great. Snail, fantastic. Bring it our way. Like,
those are both also like delicacies.
Not only are they delicacies, but they're also like not traditional Korean dishes. So I don't know why but it was just, but yeah, fell in love with a lot of cuisine that way as a kid.
It worked, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I like with this restaurant, I got to imagine like the 1950s, like the most like you know, if you're an Arlington resident in the 1950s, like the most obscure food you've had is freaking spaghetti down the street or something.
Yeah.
By Italians? Yuck. In our 1950s Arlington?
Yeah, I don't know if Italians were cool by then yet.
It must have been off the wall, like going to a Chinese restaurant. Like, what is this?
Interrupting your regularly going down to, what's that restaurant that's right on the border between Alexandria and Arlington? It's like a famous burger spot. All right, well, somebody listening right now is just like slamming their hand into the table, being like, I know what it's called, and I can't communicate it.
About like Weenie Beanie?
Maybe that's it. I think I want to say Weenie Hut Jr., but that's from SpongeBob, so not the name of the restaurant.
From Bikini Bottom, not Arlington.
Yeah, same thing, same place, basically.
All right, well, moving on, another article about a restaurant. This one is a new sushi restaurant and listening bar called Oasis in Clarendon.
Yeah, this is really cool. It's Oasis Listening Bar, like you said, and it's a Japanese-focused restaurant. But one of the cool things about this is not only is it sushi and traditional Japanese cuisine, but it's also got a real focus on having musical acts there. Like they have jazz, pop, Some of it I believe will be live, but I think a big part of it is also just having an atmosphere where you can listen to music, having vinyl records around and stuff like that. So it's based on a concept they have in Japan. They have a lot of restaurants similar to these, just these listening bars. And it's kind of a fun, unique atmosphere. I haven't been there myself, but I'm very excited to see it. The full bar and menu is supposed to open up on August 21st. So that'll be something to kind of keep an eye out for.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really cool because it says it's also going to host DJs too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah. I think this is such a fun concept. I think this is hopefully going to do really well in the area. I would love to go there. Like, I think it just seems like such a fun spot.
Yeah, Clarendon used to have a bunch of like musical act bars and stuff like that, and some of those have kind of died off over the years. Shout out Galaxy Hut, my favorite bar in the area that still does have some live music. But I think this is a nice way of not stepping on anybody's toes with the live music stuff, but still having something that keeps that musical tradition in Clarendon's nightlife alive.
So is the idea, is it live music or is it like just a curated like music selection?
I think it's kind of a mix of both. It's going to have like live music, host musicians there, but there's also going to have like DJs and just, you know, a general audiophile kind of atmosphere.
That's cool. Because I feel like there's some restaurants that like could maybe stand to like think a little bit more about their musical selections.
You want to name names? Want to throw anybody under the bus here in Arlington?
Nowhere in Arlington.
Nowhere in Arlington, sure. Those Fairfax places, though, awful. Yeah. Fairfax needs to get their musical act together.
But you know, like if you go to a place with like you're really vibing with the music, like it really just changes the experience. Maybe I don't know.
I will say I feel like sometimes you have to choose between like good music or good food.
Yeah.
So if this spot has both, that I mean, chef's kiss. That'd be perfect.
There you go. Or
there was about their food. There's a bookstore in Alexandria that obviously not a restaurant place, but it was a bookstore that had really good music. So I was walking through there, and I went up to it was Old Town Books, which I've had beefs with the owner in the past. I hope we're all good. But I went there, they had good music playing, and I like went up to the people working there, and I was like, you know, who's doing the playlist? And they're like, oh, it's just the owner's playlist, or like maybe the manager or something. And I was like, well, that's awesome. So yeah, it's cool to keep it, you know, that's they're putting thought into that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this one ramen place I like to go to, and they just always have like Taylor Swift on, which I enjoy.
Yeah, hold on. Where is this going?
This is a positive thing, all right?
Okay.
Listening to like the 10-minute version of All Too Well as you're eating a giant bowl of ramen.
That's the 10-minute version of All Too Well I most remember from seeing the movie, and that was where everybody in the theater knew you can get up and go to the bathroom during that section, because you can come back and All Too Well will still be playing.
I have no comment on the Taylor Swift.
Not a Swiftie? I think we've been through this before. Am I the only Swiftie on the podcast? Okay.
I don't.
Good to know.
No comment. I'm not going to get myself into trouble here. Not with the Swifties.
I don't know. Arlington doesn't strike me as a big Swiftie place. I feel like I'm the outlier here. So, well, I guess Alexandria had that Taylor Swift bar that closed recently, but it was always like jam packed.
I think Arlington is probably filled with Swifties.
Right, well, sound off in the comments if you love Taylor Swift, I guess.
For the record, everyone in the comments, I didn't say I didn't like Taylor Swift.
I think
commenting.
As cynical and mean as the comments on these stories can be sometimes, I feel like there's not going to be people who are mad about Taylor Swift. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, that's fair.
I guess we'll find out in the Wilson B's zine, where he is very angry at you for making fun of Taylor Swift. I can't believe you would say those things off air that we had to cut out just now.
I never said anything bad. All right. Moving away from the topic of Taylor Swift and onto something else. LGBTQ plus advocates urge APS to defy federal challenges to transgender policies. Dan, this is one of your articles.
Yeah, so this is a more serious story. So Arlington Public Schools has been under investigation from the U.S. Department of Education recently about our policy of allowing transgender students to use bathrooms that correspond with their gender identity. So, like, a transgender girl, born, boy, identifies as a girl in Arlington is allowed to use a girl's restroom. And as you can imagine, the Trump administration is not, is strongly opposed to pretty much anything having to do with transgender folks using bathrooms and other facilities corresponding with their identity. So basically, they concluded their investigation. They unsurprisingly said that Arlington's policies are, they argue that they're contrary to Title IX. And also, unsurprisingly, we now have a bunch of local advocacy groups basically pushing Arlington Public Schools leaders to straight up defy this federal department and continue to stick with these policies that the federal government alleges are against federal policies.
Yeah, we saw that in Fairfax too recently. Same thing with the school division. You had people earlier this year. You had the LGBTQ organization in Fairfax having their meetings with the school board chairs, and everybody seeming like really close and really tightly knit together. And so I think this is really going to be the test of that. Is that relationship actually that strong, or are these boards going to kind of turn around and adhere to what the federal government's demanding?
Yeah, I mean, it's a messy situation because the U.S. Department of Education has given them like a 10-day deadline. I don't know where they came up with this deadline, and I don't exactly know what they would do if anyone doesn't comply. But they're
yeah. The consequences of this seem super vague so far from what we've seen. They said it'll go to like the Justice Department. I think they said after that 10-day period if these places don't comply. But yeah, other than that, we don't really know what'll happen.
My question is, how would someone would have to like complain for them to know?
I don't think there's any shortage of people in Arlington or Fairfax that would complain about something like this.
That's true, yeah.
Well, actually, that to my understanding, a lot of what started this, like the reason that it's targeting Northern Virginia specifically, is like there was some organization, some like right-wing institute that was like,
it was Stephen Miller's group that was pushing this.
Yeah, it's sad seeing things like this.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with this, because I don't know, we don't know how much of this is actually going to follow through with it, or if it's something where there's going to be like big threats about it and then nothing happens. So I think funding was another thing that could be watched about this, because do you know how much federal funding supports the Arlington Public School Division? I think I saw that in the story.
Yeah, it's not a huge amount. It's like 3% of the school district or something. But I mean, I don't exactly know. Like, obviously, our school district has quite a bit of funding. I think it's like an $800 million budget or something. But like, to my understanding, like if you just pull, it's not like they could just be like, oh well, luckily we just have an extra 3% of our budget like laying around. Like, there's not. I don't know what the process would look like for like trying to reallocate a few $1 million to make up for that kind of a shortfall.
Yeah, and I'm sure, because it's not like the school systems are always so flush with cash and the teachers are rolling in dough, and like, so it's not like any school system I know of has a whole lot of money to spare either.
Right.
They're kind of like really trying to just make things work with what they've got. So 3% could be, unfortunately, like detrimental.
Well, see, I mean, they could go after it with the budget, but I mean, if they talk about handing it over to the Justice Department with a Title IX issue, like we could see what else. Again, I'm not really sure what this winds up looking like, but something to follow for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure like what crimes they would be alleging or like what the justice.
Right. Who do you arrest for this?
Right.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for we'll keep an eye on that one for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely do not envy our school board members right now.
No, this is a very sticky situation. But gosh, ending on such a light note here.
Speaking of sticky, the new dishes at the Japanese restaurant, sticky rice. Be sure to check that out.
Yeah, we got any
the
horse
world's
facts?
got you down. Yeah. fun horse facts on the ARLnow podcast to close out the day. I like how we're also like, we're worried about the Taylor Swift opinions being too controversial. Anyway, Donald Trump at the Department of Education. Let's dive headfirst into that. So.
Oh my gosh.
All right, don't worry. Next week, the ARLnow podcast will address the Israel-Palestine issue. So don't, along with your favorite clown rankings around Arlington. So,
and we'll make sure to do the clown rankings before so that we can
end. Tonal inconsistency, the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, guys, it's been very good to be back.
See you guys in the Wilson B. zine when that comes out.
Can't wait. I mean, we spent so much of this episode talking about it. Like,
the cruelest thing will be opening it up and not seeing anything about ARLnow in there.
I fully expect to see our faces cut out of the YouTube recording of this, pasted onto. I don't know.
That's kind of hacky. I believe Wilson B could do better than that. So.
I hope so. I don't know how the stills get chosen for the articles, but they're not great. I don't know. I'm looking at them. I'm like, oh no, that's what we went with.
Well, I thought that too because I was like, at first, let's pick a more flattering picture, and then I looked through the entire video, and I'm like, turns out there just aren't flattering pictures of me out there.
Well, it needs to be like a still where all of us are all making flattering faces because it's always there's always going to be one of us. All right, ready, set.
All right, there we go. There's our thumbnail. Everybody listening in is going to be very confused, but
y'all look great for anyone listening.
Right. Yeah, we should do that at the end of each of these.
Yeah, when we sign out, we all just do our little pose.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right. We'll see everybody next week. So.
See y'all next week.
Bye, guys.